All right, cool. All right, here's where we're going. All right, check this out.
In a quiet neighborhood, one man saw a motorcycle and still chose chaos.
Look at the fucking motorcycle pricks.
One terrible decision. What should have been an apology became a neighborhood event.
What are you gonna do? You've been driving around my neighborhood like a fucking lunatic! Hit me, you piece of shit!
Gladly. This summer, don't be a little bit.
It's John Cena.
Wait, what did he say?
I never did like that neighbor.
I never did like that. Yeah.
I never did like that neighbor.
So I saw a
Yeah.
picture of the guy in the blue shirt today, and he goes, for his next act, he's going to shoot John Wick's new dog.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was pretty good. All right. What else we got here? I saved a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, this was interesting. Just to throw it up here. Colorado just had 10,000 students get pulled out of public school to go to homeschool. And a significant portion of the parents are the public school teachers.
Yeah.
Are pulling their kids out and going, I'll just do this at home.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Like, I've got the skill set. I'm sick of what the school's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched the unsub today on the Buffalo School Update.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I finished like the last 15 minutes of it, but I got through the bulk of it, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah, they basically I watched Angry Cops. He did a live reading through the thing.
Okay. I think I saw that, but I didn't watch it. I saw that he was doing it.
Yeah.
Just
and
fine.
so I watched his breakdown as he was going through it, and then I watched this one as well, and then he talked about it again on another podcast I happened to be watching. YouTube was just like, oh, you like Angry Cops? Here's a whole bunch of stuff he was in. So I was watching some of his stuff, and basically the outcome was, we know they totally screwed up and didn't do anything right, and we're not going to do anything about it.
And nobody's to blame.
Yeah.
And even though the district attorney's office used the exact phrasing, indirect communication, obstruction.
Yeah, you're obstructing.
They then chose to say that they weren't obstructing. So I feel for what he's going through as a Austin adjacent person, because we too in Travis County specifically. So for those people who don't know, Austin is cut in half by the county line. It is not like, it's not like Houston where it's all in one county. And I'm not sure if most cities are that way or not.
Technically, Austin is all in one county. Williamson
I thought part of North Austin was in Williamson County, and the bulk of Austin was in Travis.
You might be right. Let's see.
Because McNeil High School is in Austin and it's on the county line.
They extend into Williamson and into Hayes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the bulk of Austin's in Travis County, and the George Soros funded DA won't prosecute anybody. And unless you're a cop doing your job, then he'll go after you like crazy. But it's just like a revolving door, and there's several X feeds or Twitter feeds or whatever you want to call it that just report on the number of people who've been, they're arrested that morning, let out that afternoon, they're arrested that afternoon, they're let out that evening. And it's just, and you look at it and it's like, this guy's been arrested for rape 19 times, or this guy's been arrested for assault 22 times, or they're finally charging someone for murder after 62 arrests.
14 assaults and 17 break-in entries, and it's just
go
ahead.
I was gonna say, not to say that everyone's not innocent till proven guilty, but they're not bothering to take anyone to trial. And that's the problem.
Now, some people are going to trial and getting in trouble. Did you see this dude?
No, I did not.
So we don't need to listen to it. But real estate attorney stole 4.4 million in COVID funds and got sent to jail.
Good.
Yeah, and now he's crying. Look at those tears. I want to be like Cartman. Remember Cartman when he makes the kid Scott Tinneman eat his parents and he's like licking up the tears. Num 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 num.
Yeah.
Give me those tears. I don't care.
That's like I always I haven't ever bought it, but there's a brand of gun oil out there called Liberal Tears.
Oh yeah.
And I just want to have one to have on my shelf because I just think that's funny.
All right, check this out. This will, as a woodworker, this will piss you off. So enjoy this one.
Past Stanley and Seaforths. And they're getting rid of all of their chairs.
It's worse than you think.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not usually a dumpster divey kind of person, but I'll go for it. They sawed off
one
of the legs of each of these beautiful chairs.
So no one could take them and donate them.
No one could use them.
All of this is just...
They could have donated that.
You could have donated that to a church. Give it to Goodwill. Find a Boys and Girls Club. I mean, there's hundreds of... Now, to be fair to the restaurant, there are some states that to write off a property loss for a business, you must make the property non-usable. So that could... Now, I'm not saying that that's what's happened here.
Yeah.
But that could be the case. Because I've worked for companies where we've had to destroy the product. We couldn't give it to the employee and do the same kind of write-off.
Right. But I think in a situation like this, the write-off for Goodwill should be the same.
I agree wholeheartedly, but not every state's like that.
If you work for a computer company and they're replacing all their, or any business, and they're replacing all their computers, and like
some state laws are so stupid. And I'll give you an example today. I was talking to a couple of coworkers today, and I work for a big company that is based out of California, just like lots of other companies, right? And one of the things is like a stock thing, like a stock gift, but it takes a few years for it to pay out. After the person moved out of California, they had to pay state income taxes for 3 years after they left California because the initial stock thing was issued while they were in California. And I believe they said they had to pay income taxes on their full income, not just the bit.
You heard about the NFL quarterback at the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. He who lost money to play in the Super Bowl.
He paid like $180,000 to win the Super Bowl because they take his salary for the year, which is
they call it a jock tax,
$10 million. Well, it's also for pop stars as well.
Yeah, but it's called a jock tax.
It's called a jock tax, and so they take your salary for the year and they divide it by 365, and then every day that you work in the state that you're working in the state, you have to pay. He was there for 10 days because he got there early to practice, get acclimated.
I think the NFL and the NBA and MLB should all pull up stakes and move the F out of California. Let's just boycott the state. California is a shithole.
That's what's happening.
Now, I want to be clear to those people who love California. I am not talking about the state
California
itself.
Is beautiful. It's a beautiful
I'm talking about the government has ruined the state. The only
they're trying to ruin all of the states.
Yes, they are.
Not all of them. It seems
to
like
be fair, like I am just as pissed with Pennsylvania because I lived in Pennsylvania and I explained this to you once before.
Yeah.
When I lived in Pennsylvania, I had to pay a 2% state income tax. Okay, no big deal. But then there was a like 1% county tax, 1% city tax, 1% borough tax, 1%, and it just kept going and it kept layering on it to like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And it'd be like 14 or 15%. The only thing you can write off your federal taxes is the state income tax. None of the borough city stuff.
Yeah.
And Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is a city of 5,000 people. It doesn't need that much money, especially the downtown district of Gettysburg, which is only like 12 square blocks of the borough, doesn't need 1% of my income. But the thing in Pennsylvania that pissed me off the most in that county, and I can't remember the name of the county that Gettysburg's in, there was a $100 per year privilege to work tax you had to pay the county to have a job, to be employed by someone else.
Adams County.
Adams County, thank you.
What did you call it?
The
what?
privilege to work tax.
Let's see. I want to see if it's gone up.
I want to see if it's still there. I haven't checked.
In Adams County, the local services tax or occupational privilege tax is a flat fee. It's now $52 annually.
Okay, it was
so it's $1 a week.
It was $100, but it is not a privilege to work. How old is that law? Does it say how old it is? Because I think it's like an ancient law.
Let me dig deeper into AI mode. I was just Googling it. Now I'm using Google's AI. 2007.
I see. The locals told me it was like a
That's
leftover.
the current privilege to work law.
Okay.
Let's see here. Let's see. What was the one before that? Let's see what we got here. Oh, I was gonna, since we're talking about states going to hell, take a look at what's going on in Oregon. They're trying to make hunting illegal.
That pisses me off at so many levels. One, because Oregon is a couple of cities, and then the rest of the state, and the city people and the rural people hate each other. They are not the same people.
Yeah. I don't think it was ever $100. I think you're remembering incorrectly.
And that is entirely possible.
From 96 to 2004, it was capped at $10 a year.
Maybe it was $100 for me and my wife. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe that's what you're remembering.
That's what I'm remembering. But I'm remembering like roughly 100. But I'm also remembering like my blood pressure going through the roof when someone explained to me that was a thing.
Yeah. Is this, let's ask Grok, is this actually a thing? The Peace Act, which seeks to eliminate animal cruelty exemptions, potentially criminalizing hunting, fishing, trapping, pest control, livestock slaughter for food if it qualifies. Livestock? They're just going to... What? Like, that's... I don't even have words, man. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I these are vegans. These are people who think that humans are a virus on the planet that needs to be exterminated. That's where this mentality comes from. Like, I'm not saying everybody who supports this is that, but that's the mentality that drives this. Now, I did find out something interesting today.
This is some kook who's putting up a bill. It has limited popularity. It's probably not going to happen. Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I have to add, like, I did realize today that vegans, along with not eating meat, are not allowed to eat any form of pudding, because you can't have your pudding if you don't eat your meat.
Oh, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. That's terrible.
It's great.
Oh, it's great. You're such an asshole.
Because next time somebody comes up and tells me they're vegan, I would be like, how could you give up pudding just so that I can drop that horrible dad joke? That's
awful. My favorite bit on that is Daniel Sloss has a bit. I think it's on one of his Netflix specials, where he talks about he's talking about how peer pressure isn't real, because I have friends who drink and I drank, and I have friends who smoke and I smoke, and I have friends who are vegan, and no, it's not going to work on me. And he talks about how, like, he orders the steak and they're like, how could you do that? He starts like talking about, like, well, this was Bessie and she was a good cow, and then like, and here comes her kid, the starters. Like,
I love it, because I will occasionally see this one that pops up, and people will post a picture of like a deer or something and go, how can you eat this poor animal? And everybody's response is always like, Are you asking for recipes, or is this a rhetorical question?
So,
because like venison, I have to share this. Like, I remember in when my parents were in their late 40s, early 50s, their cholesterol and stuff went through the roof, and the doctor said that they had to get it down. It was about the time my dad found out he was diabetic, and like they needed to adjust some health, and they wanted to put him on all these kinds of meds. And we went on a big fishing trip. We went on a 3-week fishing trip to go catfishing. And for those who don't understand, when I say catfishing, we weren't catfishing. It was industrial catfishing. We were running 15 or 20 trot lines and jug lines. And we brought in 800 pounds of catfish after it was processed in 3 weeks, right? Now, there was a crew of us doing it. That's a lot of catfish. So we froze all that. And then they stopped eating beef, and we went to just venison. And between the catfish and the venison, their cholesterol dropped like 45 points.
You mean eating natural, unprocessed food is more healthy for you?
Well, actually eating exceptionally lean red meats.
Yeah.
Because there are some naturally fatter red meats. And, you know.
No, I'm being facetious as well.
But also naturally sourced. We went and got it ourselves. We shoot deer every year. My dad helps manage part of a federal game program for a ranch, because that's animal husbandry, and you got to kill some of them because we've wiped out most of the predators. And, you know, nature's not pretty. And I've seen what happens when you don't do it. We've got a neighborhood here that's just inside the city limits, and there's an abandoned golf course back behind it. And there's like 20 or 30 deer in every single yard. And they're so inbred, and they're so underfed, even with people putting out corn and stuff. Like, they're the size of like a small Doberman. They're not.
Oh, wow.
They're like, next time you come up, I'll drive you through the neighborhood and show you. It's wild. Maybe I can go get some video of it or something. But they're malnourished. And because it's inside the city limits, we can't do anything about it. The city won't come out and trap them. They won't pay for professional hunters to come in and do anything. Nobody in the game management program wants them because they're not healthy.
Yeah,
so
they need to be killed off at that point, essentially.
And
I was going to say, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, killing animals, there's reasons to do it. Yeah. Now, for pure pleasure, or pure trophy hunting, I struggle with that.
I have no problem with those guys who pay to go over to like take out the lion that needs to be shot, kind of thing. Like,
and I have no problem with a trophy hunter as long as either it's an animal that needs to be taken down for some, other reason, or the meat goes to somebody. But I have seen people show up to a deer lease, shoot a 250-pound gorgeous buck, cut its head off, and leave the body to rot. And I'm just like, no, that is that. And don't get me wrong, I have no problem with taking a trophy. I have, a gorgeous European style skull mount over my fireplace mantle. It's, but purely to do it, for the trophy and waste the food, no.
I mean, again, if you're gonna go out for the trophy and that's all you want, that's fine. But process the meat, donate the meat, do something. There's programs that will take that and do something with it.
And again, like everything else, there are some exceptions. There's some really large wild boar around here that are kind of old and nasty, and and when we shoot them, we just let them drop and we let the scavengers get them, because it's just
that's also a destruction. They're destructive.
And I mean, we can't kill them fast enough,
right?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you were mentioning Bambi. You took me out hunting for my first time.
Why don't you tell that story? Just the whole,
I've done it. I've told it on the before, but
did you? Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I've told it before, but I Yeah, we went out, we shot it. We skinned it and processed it, and then I took most of it home, still mostly on the bone. We pretty much just like quartered it.
Yeah, we did. We just quartered it up. You took it home and like,
and then I processed it all out and cooked it myself. And the first time there's something different about something that when you've taken it all the way through the whole process. And I did fried up some of the backstrap.
It's not even that
oh, this is different.
It's not that it tastes better. You had a true appreciation of what it took to feed you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the first time I caught an ember from a spark and blew it into flame.
And I was like, oh, I got it.
Ooh, caveman vibes, right? Like,
yeah.
Like powerful.
But after I did that, I posted a picture probably on Facebook at the time of I don't remember what the picture was of, but it was of some part of the process. And one of the girls I went to church with posted on there and said, oh my God, you shot Bambi. And I responded back. I said, actually, that's a doe. It's Bambi's mom.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Because that's people when I was in high school and junior high, they'd be like, you shot Bambi. I would be like, no, I shot Bambi's mom.
Yeah.
I'm
the hunter.
That's what I'd be like, I'm the bad guy. I'm the villain in the Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only Republican running for Mecklenburg County dropped out of the race because his house got shot out and the police didn't do anything about it. They're shooting at people to keep them from running and nobody seems to care. This feels like
they should reply as the founding fathers suggested, with a shot of the grape,
Yeah.
Have you seen that meme where I'm defending my house as the founding fathers intended with flintlocks and then I gave them the blast of the cannon and then I stuck them with the bayonet. It's hilarious. It's a little
video
clip's hilarious.
But I mean, this post says it best. Can anyone explain why zero mainstream outlets are covering this?
Why would they? It's a local election.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just it's the okay.
We've had it too easy too long.
So we were talking about this earlier. The Church of England has put in the head of the Church of England, and it's a woman. Now, hang on, you got to look at the meme first.
And they probably have very similar philosophies on that.
Yeah.
And maybe Jews. I'm sorry, that was bad. That was probably crossing the line.
No, it wasn't.
Now, I know a lot of Episcopalians. There's a lot of Catholic lights. And I do want to say that, because Episcopalians is basically the Church of England in America. And when I went through seminary, there was a huge influx of female pastors. And I want to be very clear about it. They were joining the Episcopalian Church because they all called themselves recovering Catholics. And they said that this was a church where they felt like they could do something and give back without having to become a celibate nun. And like, I do get that. Like, they wanted, and I've said this before, that some of the best pastors I have known are women.
Yeah, same here.
Because they're more empathetic, they can connect better, they tend to multitask better. But on average, I've watched several of them destroy the church, right?
Yes.
The specific church. And for a variety of reasons. And I don't even want to lump like the ones that I went to school with, because I'm talking more like the 60s and 70s liberal, we got to change the church and go with whatever the vibe is or whatever. Because a lot of the ones I went to school with are actually pretty conservative when it comes to the liturgy and the interpretation of the gospel and a lot of that kind of stuff. But it also really struggles that like 2 or 3 of the people who went to seminary with me were people who were working for Al Gore's campaign, and they had political science degrees, and they went into the church because Gore lost. And then within like 3 or 4 years, they were assistant bishops and stuff, and they worked their way up through the hierarchy. And I was just like that. And it's not that they're bad people, but it's got dirty to me.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
you traded one politic for another, you know?
right. Well, there's been an infiltration of a different ideology into the church system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the church has this ideology, agree with it or not. That's not, I'm not trying, but they have this ideology, and there's this other thing that's coming in. And, you know, when you see pride flags draped over the cross in the front of the church, you're like, all right, hang on a second. Something's happened here.
When I see any flag draped across the whatever, like the only things that should be on an altar in the church are colors that have to do with the liturgy of the season.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
Hard stop. Right.
Yeah.
And I also struggle with other organizations stealing my religious symbolism. Right. The LGBT, you know, rainbow flag, like the rainbow is the promise of not destroying the world again.
Yeah,
that's what the rainbow means, at least to me.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
No, I know, but I'm saying like it's been hijacked.
Yeah,
that, and I make the same argument that in the same way that the rainbow has been hijacked, the idea of marriage has been hijacked.
Yeah. Well, hell, the Nazis hijacked their symbol.
Yeah,
that's a religious symbol from multiple faiths around the world, and now you can't draw. You know, they didn't call it a swastika, but there's Native Americans who used it. It's in the Hindu faith.
Yep.
You know, and anytime a symbol is hijacked, you know, I've also decided that to me, it's just. Looking back on my life, looking back on my experiences, looking back at the people that have helped shape my acceptance of people who are, you know, gay or lesbian or bi, because I didn't really know many growing up, and I met them in college, and it really, like, I was homophobic when I started because I didn't know anybody, and it just scared me because I didn't know anything about it. Yeah. And then I met, you know, one of my really good friends in college, and we had a rough start, but when I explained, like, you don't grab my ass without my consent, like, he immediately was like, oh God, I'm so sorry, that I was just being friendly. And it was like, but from that point forward, as soon as we hashed that bit out, like, we were best buds. But for me, it's like, LGB, all the other alphabets have hijacked that movement. Because I remember
that's happened too.
I remember kids that I found out were gay or bi or lesbian that I went to school with, and they hid it because of the, you know, the stigma and the fear and all that. And, you know, I meet somebody from high school 20 years later, and I'm like, you were gay? And they're like, yeah. I was like, you were the biggest womanizer I knew. He's like, yeah, I had to hide it. You know, or you're a lesbian? And it's like, yeah, but you slept with like every dude. Yeah, I was hiding it. You know, it was like, so I don't like movements that get hijacked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I've heard the argument from the gay and lesbian community that I'm not my opinion, trying to express someone else's thought on this, just trying to articulate it here, that in their view, the transgender movement is an attack on gay and lesbian children because the things that they're doing to them are essentially they're getting them to mutilate so that they can't be that thing anymore. Now I can see that position, and I'm like, that's actually a pretty valid argument.
I had one of my very good lesbian friends say, I can't support the trans movement because I'm a woman, I just don't want to sleep with any men. I want to sleep with other women.
Yeah.
But I'm a woman, right? I've heard the same thing out of guys. I'm a dude. I just like dudes,
Right.
And then I've had other friends who are like, I like them both. It's just, it's
Fine.
like, but, and this is a very controversial opinion, but some people consider the whole trans thing what is it? The body dysmorphia, like mental illness. And rather than treat the mental illness, they are endorsing it as okay, right? The same way I would never go up to someone who's fighting anorexia and be like, yeah, don't eat, or fighting bulimia say puke more,
If we are going to, because I think we have at this point, I don't know if this is DSM-5, but like we consider alcoholism to be a disease.
Yeah,
there are some people who just they can't control themselves, and that
same with gambling. Like, it's an addiction disease. Like,
but you would never walk up to someone who was struggling with alcohol and give them another beer. Like, that doesn't help them.
No, it doesn't.
And that's the same thing. Like, if someone comes in and goes, I'm struggling with this, and you go, lean into that. Like, hang on a minute. What are we doing? Lean into your anorexia, lean into your
part of the problem with psychology and therapy and all this stuff in general is it's brand new, relatively speaking. And there's been a lot of bad therapies, right? You experienced bad therapy. You've read the book. Let me pull up
who that book was by, because I want to.
I didn't mean to go off on this crazy tangent.
No, we can totally go off of this. It's called Bad Therapy: Why Kids Aren't Growing Up. It's by Abigail Shrier. I believe she's the one who also was the first one to. This is that the taints are shrinking. I think she was the one who first noticed that's something to do with the microplastics, and it's like lowering the distance of the taint in boys has something to do with like testosterone levels, and the smaller that it gets, it's bad. I'm not a scientist. I'm not that smart. But she wrote a book called Bad Therapy, and I went through a lot of therapy as a kid for a whole bunch of reasons I won't even get into. More stuff external to me. I was sort of being forced to participate in.
You were dragged into therapy.
Yeah. Through other, parents needed therapy, so then kid needs therapy too. And as I read through that book, I was like, oh, I remember that. I remember this. I remember when this was tried to be, and
really, for me, just to kind of sum up where I'm at, because if somebody's listening to this rant or decides to clip it up out of context or whatever, I don't give a shit what anybody does in their bedroom, in their own house. Do what you want to do. I don't have to deal with it in public. Like, I can just not engage. Like, please just leave me alone. I don't go up to people at random and, preach about you need to go buy a gun and have a Second Amendment. Like, I'm not, the things I do, I'm not beating you down the door and any of that kind of stuff. I'm not sitting there going, you've got to play D&D. It's the best game in the world. Like, it's not trying to relate one to the other, but like, you do you, but keep it away from me and my kids.
Well, and the way sort of what it's like is you have a gun and you go up to someone who doesn't like guns, and it's not the conversation isn't, it's not. The conversation starts with you walking up to the person and going, you must agree guns are good. And then we can start having the conversation. And that's the same thing where it's like, you go up and they're like, you have to agree that I'm the thing that I say I am, or you're, and it's like, well, hang on a minute. I don't have to agree to anything. And this argument of like, if you don't accept it, then you're, phobic doesn't make sense to me either. That's
because in all honesty, I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. I don't care. It's just like, it's funny if you I've been listening to Rachel Wilson, who wrote Occult Feminism, and I've listened to some of her debates, and Andrew talks about this too, but they they pull up the like anti-suffragette propaganda of like, here's what's going to happen. Women are going to start using like this, and then everybody's going to have to go to work because they're going to like, it's all the things that have happened that the arguments, the anti-feminism current arguments are like, look, now there's you can't just have a single family household anymore, income household. Like,
it's hard. I'm doing it.
Yeah. But
I don't have the partner here to help around the house,
But that's what I mean. Like we sort of broke that system where like it just isn't really an option for most people anymore. And what's interesting is that if you go back and look at some of the arguments that were being made from the right during the gay marriage debate of like, if we allow this, then it's going to be this in schools and this and this and that. And you go back and look at that list and you're like, you were right on like half of those.
Yeah.
Like
the flip side of that, and I want to be fair about this, the flip side of that is for a long time, there were dedicated partners who had no choice on medical stuff, couldn't have life insurance, no benefits. And I'm like, no, none of legal civil unions, like all that stuff is because marriage, according to the state, is a contract. It's a legal contract. I know this because to get divorced, I had to go to court and sue to have a judge dissolve that contract.
Right.
Right. And to be perfectly honest, I mean, if like the gay marriage people want to get married, they're welcome to the misery that comes with divorce. But and it's really interesting though when you look at the statistics of like the number of people getting divorced, gay men are the lowest.
Yeah.
Like they don't. I mean, they do, but they're the lowest.
Yeah.
And then it's straight couples. And then it's women partners.
Do you know what's also interesting in that same order?
What?
It's partner on partner violence. Men is the lowest, men and women is the second, and women and two women living together is the highest probability of partner on partner violence. Which I thought was it's counterintuitive to the narrative that we've been taught of men are violent, crazy, beat up their partner.
On the surface of the assumption of what society says, you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But if you then flip it in real years, it makes sense to me.
Well, and the other thing that you also have to take into account to those numbers is the assumption of, the man is the one who's always doing the abuse. What it actually, where there's actually the most is when it's not, when the man in the house isn't the father of the children. That's when it goes up. So violence between an actual married couple where both kids are theirs is low. I mean, it happens. I'm not like, but it's lower, but it significantly spikes when it's a woman with her two kids and her boyfriend or second husband or whatever. But like that dynamic apparently is much worse, which makes that if we've shifted the world to more and more and more divorce, that's led to which hang on, let me finish this thought out here. By allowing more and more divorce and no fault divorce and all this, what we've essentially done is pushed the narrative forward that men are violent because women are putting themselves into violent situations by leaving their partner and going somewhere else. Like it's this escalating circle of,
and there's a lot of factors that play into it. But no, one of the things I was gonna say is, my blood pressure got really, really dangerously high during my divorce, so I had to take a relatively short leave, but it was a few months off. And where I work, if you're at least at the time, if you're on leave for medical, you have to see a therapist once a week just because you're not used to not being at work and all this other stuff. And I was talking through everything, and I remember like one of the most surreal experiences of my life is when the therapist said, you have all the symptoms of an abused spouse. And I was like, my wife never laid a hand on me. And he's like, they don't have to. And I was just like, oh, you're talking about psychological trauma, right?
Yeah.
And and I was like that took I still like it took years to unpack and be like, wow, okay. You mean all that stuff I put up with I shouldn't have? Okay, well that's me being a dumbass.
Yeah.
And not knowing how to set healthy boundaries and all the other stuff that came with that. But I was young and dumb when I got married. You know.
Yeah. But I yeah. So we'll move on from that. Here, I got
Yeah.
one to show you.
What's something funny? Yeah. Oh.
No, it's the end of the world.
Oh, the end of the world. Okay.
Did you not see this?
No.
This was today. They were having like a AI is the future sort of thing. Yeah, that's the first lady walking down the red carpet with a robot. Where's John Connor? John Connor needs to make an AI video of John Connor jumping out and shooting the
robot. Yeah,
shooting the robot. Yeah,
I know this doesn't end well.
Yeah. So I actually want to jump in. I want to talk a little bit about this. So Facebook had a bad day today.
And between yesterday. Yeah. And Google, because it wasn't just Facebook. I think it was Google too.
Oh, yeah. So Facebook and Instagram, so it's Meta and Google lost the lawsuit. Let's see if this is.
They lost two.
Well, there's one today was a big one, and I'm sure they're gonna appeal.
Well, yeah.
So basically, what they've determined was that the app design, such as infinite scroll and notification disabling immunity, they're basically arguing that it was. This is not the same article I was looking at before.
Designed to be addictive.
It's designed. Children. They targeted the children even though they knew they would be addicted. This ruling is like a referendum that goes beyond simple punishment and informs the entire industry that the era of responsibility has come. Now, the other article I was looking at pointed out that, so I was talking to my dad about this a little earlier, and he was like, "What is that?" He was legitimately like, "What does this even like mean?" And I was like, "Honestly, I don't know what this means.
We don't know yet."
But one of the things I saw was that it wasn't labeled as addictive. And so my first thought was like, well, are they just going to put a label on it like a pack of cigarettes? You know, this is potentially addictive. My other concern that follows from this is the only solution that the solution that I see that they're going to try to implement is age restriction.
Yeah, because didn't Apple just roll that out in the new OS update?
I don't know.
I think 26.4 put like the UK age restriction and stuff in. I think that's a huge part of the 20, and I think Android's doing it too. It's not just an Apple thing, but I know the UK has one and Australia has one. So the tech companies are going to have to start pushing age restrictions.
So the problem that I see with this, I mean, let me be very careful about this. I think we need to figure out how to implement age restrictions, period. Yeah. The problem that I see is that the solution that they're going to try to implement is digital ID.
Well, it's interesting because there was more than one solution, at least for the Apple one, because you could put in a credit card number. And if you had a valid credit card number, that was...
I'm not saying that there aren't other solutions. What I'm saying is that I'm concerned that the one that they're going to try to push
to legislate is digital ID.
ID, because there's a huge business behind it. Somebody's going to make a bunch of money, whoever gets the contract to do the digital ID. I know that I was watching, I think it was Trigonometry. They were talking about Nigel Farage, I think, the former somebody, or he's been pushing digital ID because, and the argument has been that you were against it and now you're for it. Is that because your son now works for a digital ID company? Like that sort of thing. But like, I see something like that happening. Like, you know, it doesn't happen when Trump's president, but whoever the next president is, Buddy works at and then they're going to push this, thing for whoever to benefit whoever.
At this point, the only person I would even consider trusting on it is somebody like Musk, who's like, I'm not affiliated with anybody, but I'm going to do it open source and make sure it's free and nobody's going to make a profit off this.
Yeah. It's not even the profit. It's the step towards being monitored on the internet. Because once they deploy digital ID on social media, they'll also then try to deploy it to adult websites, and that's going to get into like.
And they're already doing that. Like Texas has a law where you have to confirm your age somehow, and I don't know how they're doing that.
Well, people just use VPN. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but like I think the adult industry had the proper response to it, where they're like, okay, if that's what you're going to do, then you just don't get to go to the website if you live in that state and go talk to your legislature. Right?
Yeah. We can't. Well, it was also one of those things of like they implemented it and it was like, you know, they passed the law and it was in effect within a few weeks or months or something. And they were just like, we have no solution for this.
Like, I think
it may have been.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And they were just like, fine, we'll just shut them all down for now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we're making enough money everywhere else, so we'll just cut off your people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's do this one here. I have not watched this yet. It was a clip I just saw pop up, and so I pulled it.
What their proposal does. That is not what their proposal does. Their carve-outs actually keep in place funding mechanisms that would allow ICE to continue to deport people, to conduct abuses without civil liberties being protected.
Deporting illegal immigrants is the job of ICE.
American
and
citizens.
That's lost in this entire thing. You're doing this all to keep illegal immigrants in America.
If you would let me Will, that's not what.
See, what they've somehow figured out how to do is convince people that the people that are here illegally are somehow not illegal.
Yeah. Well, because they're not. That's why they don't even like to use the word illegal. They want undocumented immigrant.
Undocumented. Yeah.
Not criminal illegal alien who committed a felony by coming here, which is how I think we should describe them. Like, yeah. Because that's what it is.
I actually don't.
I can't go to China.
I don't think it's a felony though.
I can't go to Australia and just live there. Like, they have, like, their restrictions make ours look lame.
Oh yeah. I thought I remember someone talking about how
it may not be a felony.
No, I know, but it
could be incorrect.
It's just a misdemeanor.
Is it just
the first time you do it? Yeah.
Okay, but it's still a crime.
After that, it's a felony. But
okay,
but the only reason
speeding is a misdemeanor.
The only reason that I clarify that is because I've heard the argument going, but it's just a misdemeanor, and you're like, so
yeah,
like that somehow makes it better.
Yeah.
All right, now for something a little less stressful. Did you see this pop up? This is an old picture.
Stegosaurus. I've seen this one before. Yeah,
carved into the side of a temple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw one the other day that was some dude apparently thinks he found ruins off the coast of Louisiana.
Yeah, you sent me that one. There was like a chunk of what he said was a pyramid or something. And it was a stone or something.
It's an old thing, but it like popped back up again. Let me see if
I had never seen it before.
I typed that in and I hit search and it did not search. How weird. It just keeps loading to like my main page. That's weird. I guess I can't find anything.
Maybe it's saying it's time for us to be done.
Well, yeah, we can be. Hang on.
Yeah.
I want to show you what this was if I can find it here. Yeah, here we go. Of course, it's the Post, the New York Post, the most reliable source on the internet, of course. But this is the kind of thing that like people won't cover. But this guy's like he was like a builder, as like an architect, and he was out there, and he found this out in the water.
Like the Post.
What's that?
I like the Post. I think the New York Post does a pretty good job.
They also do some of the wild stories as well.
But they do, yeah.
So
it's not the Weekly World News like when I was a kid with Bat Boy and all that.
Hang on, I'm going to show you one last thing before we finish up here. I gave you a Kurt Metzger yesterday. I'm going to give you another one today. I've been still working my way through. He did that interview with Julian Dory. It was really good. Let's see here. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Transdimensional Trillionaires. You're going to love this. It's so good.
I love that his crown is bullets.
Well, he's wearing the costume of the Korean Jesus guy. There's some cult leader, and he's one of those guys who dresses up and does silly stuff. Like, he did a podcast with Rogan, I think, dressed as an astronaut, and so like the whole way through, he was like, "As an astronaut, I know what I'm talking." Like he's a comedian, but he's also like deep into the crazy stuff. This is just funny.
Lee Strieber, I think, is some kind of necromancer myself, because he incorporates that he's talking to the dead all the time. And I don't know why I should commune with these disgusting creatures that sexually assaulted him, but they sound real bad. They sound real bad. They don't sound. And you ever hear Whitley Strieber say when he asked them, "What's the universe to you?" and they put an image of a coffin in his head?
I don't remember that part.
That's one of his stories.
He's got an image of a coffin in his head when he asked what the universe
was. Yeah, so think
was.
of this. Your time is meaningless to you because you're a fifth dimension, whatever.
Sure.
So the way it would work is you it's like you're in a fence. You can go to your starting point and your end point back and forth, like in that Kurt Vonnegut Breakfast of Champions book.
Yeah.
And that's it. So imagine playing, remember Grand Theft Auto 3 when it first came out? You ever play that? It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So imagine you were so afraid that nothing better could be, there could be no better game than Grand Theft Auto 3, that you put your consciousness in it forever to preserve yourself, which sucks. It's one of the earliest Grand Theft Autos. Why would you go? It's like getting a flat screen TV first. What are you, an asshole? Right?
Yeah.
And now you're stuck there. So remember Black Mirror, where the two lesbians live in a hard drive in 80s world? And that's hell. They're showing you hell. They weren't describing it. They're making it like it's beautiful, but it's not. The earliest technology to preserve your you think that's going to be the one you want? It's not. So now you're going to be trapped. So when Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out and you can never play, you're stuck.
Grand Theft Auto 6 will never come out.
It will. It's coming out.
To yourself. I think these things are transhumanists that transhumaned and they can't transition back, like the irreversible damage of transitioning children. And so that's why they got to come and dick around with your shit. That's why they come harvest your semen. They got to figure out a way to undo whatever the fuck they did to themselves, is what I think. Transdimensional trillionaires.
That's a
Thiel's
plot from Stargate. That's what the Thor Asgard race did, and through cloning and stuff, and they were experimenting. I keep saying, like, Stargate SG-1, that really was just a closet documentary, and we're going to come out and find out that, like, most of that was real in some way, shape, or form.
They were trying to tell us, but not.
Like, I mean, they even have an episode where they spoof the episode of Stargate in Stargate that met at, like, it.
Sia, do you know why you're here?
Dude,
Bad luck, I guess.
it's fucking coming.
One of these days. I've never played any of them.
Dude, I'm so hyped. I played the original 2, the top down, like the old school ones. I played GTA 3 a bunch, and I played Vice City a bunch. I didn't play a ton of San Andreas.
I had a buddy who played 3, so I saw a bunch of it get played. But
I didn't play 4 very much, but I played the hell out of 5. 5 was great.
These just weren't my style of games. I liked the Warcraft, StarCraft style game.
Yeah.
Like those were my kind of games.
But dude, this just looks like, if they pull this off and this is what the game looks like the whole way through.
Well, look who's back.
I just, like, it's crazy how good it is.
To get through this
How good it looks.
is by sticking together, being a team.
Trust.
I'm pumped for it.
I
think it's
do
gonna be
like
crazy
that. It
good.
looks like the lead chick is a thick Latina. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I think it's like he just got out of jail and like that's his girlfriend, and they're like, gotta get
They
back
gotta do
into a
the
life of crime or whatever it is.
Isn't that the Fast and Furious movies?
They don't start in jail.
No,
Well,
no,
I guess
but
Dom
they go
did go to jail. But yeah.
It's been a long time since I saw the first couple, like since they came out. So
I have rewatched the I watch 1 and then I skip to 4 because 2's not
like
terrible.
2.
2's not
2.
bad, but 3 I don't watch.
Wasn't
at all.
that Tokyo Drift?
Tokyo Drift, yeah.
Yeah.
And then 4, 5, and 6 are all really good. That's like one little sort of trilogy of a story there, because it's like at the end of 3, Dom goes to jail, and then the beginning of 4, they like break him out and have to go down to Mexico, and like there's a whole thing that happens there.
I've seen them so intermittently, and it's so spread. It's not that they're bad movies, like the car movies. So yeah.
Well, my brain just remembers plots really easily. That's why I can't. That's why I hate. Sometimes I love watching movies, but I also hate watching movies because I have a Rolodex of plots in my brain, and I'm running through going that. I know where they're going, and so. Oh, that being said, Project Hail Mary.
I need to go see it.
I did not know where that was going and enjoyed the hell out of it. It was great.
As much as I like big theater movies, this one, like I saw The Martian on TV, and I don't feel like I lost anything watching The Martian on TV.
I rewatched that the other day. It was so good.
So I'm probably going to wait till Project Hail Mary comes out.
The only reason that I would argue that you should go is that the stuff, if you go, like, it's beautiful because all the star stuff you see is all real star pictures. That they use.
It looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous, and I may go see it.
It's gonna win some Oscars. I
bet it gets snubbed.
It might, but it
should win some Oscars. But you know what? Nobody cares about the Oscars anymore.
It may not win acting Oscars, but just from a technical standpoint, like.
I think The Rock thing should win Best Supporting Actor. I lost you. You froze. Well, it looks like Daniel's internet went out. So peace out, everybody. Do that whole like, subscribe thing. We're just, a couple of guys bullshitting about stuff. Later.